Hello, and welcome to Ruth Reacts to Books. I'm your host, Ruxie, Ruth McGouth. This is Season 2, Episode 39, and today I'm reacting to the book Loud by Drew Afualo. I have a visitor today, my cat, Coco. Hi, Coco. She decided to hang out with us. So this is the book Loud by Drew Afualo. It was a gift to me last year for my birthday. I just had my birthday. And last year for my birthday, my friend Gabby gave me this book. Finally got around to reading it. Every birthday and Christmas, my friend Gabby and I exchanged books. And so this was the book that Gabby gave me last year for my birthday. So I will read the inside cover and I'll tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, my rating, and I'll tell you what food I have associated with the book. I've got recipes for you in the comments, and then I'll tell you about my nails and why I picked them out with this book. So let's get going. If I can get my glasses on, because I just turned a certain age, so I've got to have glasses on. All right, Drew Afualo is best known as the internet's crusader for women and has established herself as a preeminent feminist leader of her generation. Loud is part manual, part manifesto, and part memoir. It makes it clear that behind Afualo's fearsome laugh is a mission and a life philosophy, a strategy for self-confidence from the inside out, and a pathway to once and for all remove men from the center of how women and femmes feel about themselves. Afualo has amassed more than 9 million followers across her social platforms. When she started creating content in 2020, she quickly realized that many men on social media were disparaging women and other marginalized groups with rampant fat phobia, racism, and other forms of bigotry, having very real-life consequences. It didn't take long for her to step into the role of unofficial watchdog for misogyny. Her signature laugh is now a feminist call to arms, a summoning cry to rid the internet and our hearts, minds, and lives of terrible men and fight outdated patriarchal ideals. So I gave the book 3.75 stars, so I definitely liked this one. So what did I like about it? Well, it definitely, so as it said, it had a feminist perspective from this. I didn't know who Drew Afualo was at all until I started reading this book. Never heard of her. Obviously, it stated in there that she started creating content in 2020, so she's a fairly new influencer. So it was interesting to just pick up the book and start hearing her perspective and get to know her a little bit. As I was reading it, I definitely was thinking, like, I wish that all the young girls that I know and have ever known could read this book or would read this book, because I think there's a lot of really good things in here. Like, I wish I had had this book when I was young and that I would have read it and taken it to heart, because I think I could have saved myself a lot of years of pain and suffering from kind of allowing what other people thought about me to really impact the way that I thought about myself and that I felt about myself. And so I really felt that there was a lot of really great content that I highly recommend. There was some really great conversation about gender roles. She has a very interesting family that she grew up in, with a family that has non-traditional gender roles with her own mom and dad. And so I think that was a really cool conversation to read and hear about, and think through how can we help have those conversations with our children and in our lives so that we can stop perpetuating the gender role of, like, the man does this, the woman does this, because it shouldn't always be like that. I really liked that about it. It made me think about advocating for myself and, like, the way that I want to be treated in the rooms that I choose to put myself into. I think we all deserve to have respect and be treated respectfully everywhere we go. And so this book helped me to think about, like, I'm the one in charge of that, right? I'm the one that decides whether or not I allow people to treat me poorly in many ways. Not everyone has, like, I have a lot of privilege, so I have a lot of ability to remove myself from places when I'm not being treated well. And so I do have that ability to do that. And so when I'm not choosing to remove myself from those those rooms, that is a choice I'm making. And so this book kind of helped move me along that path, just as some other things that I've recently been watching have also helped me make those decisions. And so that's helpful. It was a hard topic. So like, if anything that I didn't like, it was a tough topic. So just kind of similar to early in the season of Ruth Reacts to Books, we had another book about, it was like In Defense of Witches, which is another kind of feminist, it was a much more academic book, but similar to this one in that it's kind of a feminist theory book. And it was similar where like, I really liked the book. It had me thinking really hard, but it was tough to read, right? Because these are tough topics to think about. It's not a happy thing to think about that like women aren't treated equally and fairly. It sort of sucks, especially, you know, being a woman, having experienced that. Yeah, it's kind of painful to think about, but it's facts. I mean, we're seeing it more and more these days, unfortunately, in the current political climate that we're in. So that was kind of a tough topic. The other part, my ego was struggling a little with this one. This girl's 15 years younger than me, and so it was a little bit weird to be like learning something from someone who's 15 years younger than me, but that's just like a fact of like, I got to get over myself. Like, obviously, I have learned many things in my life from people that are younger than me. I learn stuff from people that are younger than me all the time. So I don't know why I was having such a weird time with that in this one. Maybe it's just because she's an influencer, and I have never really felt like I've learned a lot from influencers before. And this is the first time I was learning something from like a social media influencer. Maybe that was the thing, but I was having weird feelings about it. But I really liked her. Definitely wanted to know more about her. I went out and looked her up afterwards because, like, as I said, never had seen any of her videos or anything. You know, she's definitely an interesting person. She's obviously, this is her picture on the front of the book, but you can't really tell. She's not your typical like thin woman. She's kind of a more full-figured gal, and so I like that. Obviously, myself being a full-figured gal as well, it's kind of nice to have that representation out there in the world, on screen, especially from someone who's kind of a little bit famous. I mean, she's got 9 million followers. That's pretty famous. So that's pretty cool. It was interesting to get to know her. So the food that I have that goes along with this book, I got a video of her, Miss Drew Afualo herself, picking out which sandwich she likes the best. So she ended up landing on a chicken sandwich. So we've got a chicken sandwich recipe for you there from a food blog, and then I've got the vegetarian version as well, so vegan version out there too for the vegetarians. So that's what I got for the sandwiches, for the food. And then for my nails, I have this one. It's called Fierce Florals. It's kind of has different floral arrangements. I feel like it looks better in real life than you can tell on the camera, but it's kind of got some different, and then each hand is actually a little bit different too, because each one's a little bit different. So you've got some florals, you've got some sort of like cheetah things, and it kind of just gave me, she went to school in Hawaii, we find out, and so I was looking for something that was kind of loud, like the book said, so colorful. I was looking for something very colorful, but then I was also looking for something that had kind of a, you know, just that kind of went with the story, and I felt like this gave me Hawaii vibes. And since she went to school in Hawaii, that's what I ended up picking out for this week. So I hope you guys have a great week. I will be back next week with yet another wonderful episode of Ruth Reacts to Books, and I will see all of you on the flip side. Bye.